Hi everyone, another day, another share with Phyllis. So we are going to be continuing with our tutorials on drafting, and we have already done the 9 patch and the 4 patch, and this is the 4 patch. I'm really pleased with it. So I hope yours turned out as nicely as this one. So now we're going to start working on a 5 patch, and it's a little bit more complicated about drafting a 5 patch, but I'll show you the steps to go and get everything divided equally on a 12-inch block. I'm just going to put this aside. This is going to be the block we're going to do it in. We will choose colors and stuff. So the first thing we need to do is identify that this is a 5 patch, and how to do that is there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows or columns, and then there's 5 rows. Even though this is one big piece, you're still going to be dividing things up to be able to make sure that you have these all equally sized. All right, so, and to do that, I'm going to give you the tips to do that. So now it's very hard to divide a 12-inch piece of paper equally 5 times. We're getting into fractions at that point. But there's a method of doing this that really is easy to do, okay? So the first thing we need to do is we need to identify these corners, because we're going to need those identifications as we do our markings. So in the lower left, okay, follow my words, not just in case things got turned around. I'm not sure how this is filming. In my lower left, your lower left, you choose, is an A. Mark an A. Then go over to the right and choose a B. Write a B. Go up to the right top or upper right. Draw a C and a D in the upper left. All right. So this is 12 inches. So we want to do a 5 patch, right? So 5 divide into 12 is a fraction. So what's the next greater number that divides equally, 5 divides equally into, which is 15. So we are going to divide 5 into 15 to get our numbers. So this is A, and we're going to take our drafting ruler, okay, and we're going to put this point here, 0 of the ruler, onto that corner of A. And we're going to find 15 along here, making sure that this point stays on the corner of the paper. And then we just make sure, there we go. Now, the next thing you need to do is, once you've done that, so here on this line, the 15 line of the ruler is touching this line of the graph paper. The point of the 0 mark of this ruler is on the corner of the paper, of the drafting paper. Okay? And how many times divide 15 by 5. So 5 into 15. How many times does 5 divide equally into 15? 3 times, right? So so what you're going to do is you're going to take, so 3 times, okay? So divide 15 by 5 and it equals to 3. Okay? So our lines will have to be along the ruler, along this ruler here, every 3 inches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to mark a little check mark there. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 and mark a little check mark there. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 and mark a little check mark here. And all along I'm making sure that this and this corner doesn't move. I don't want this to move and I don't want this to move, but then things aren't going to line up, right? So I marked here on number 6, 1, 2, 3, and on number 3. We're going to do a little check. All right, so now we need to draw those lines this way before we do these lines, right? So I'm gonna take my ruler, and I'm got a little check mark right there that I've marked in. I have one here, one here, one here. So I'm gonna make sure that these lines are straight, and I'm checking along to make sure that these red lines are lined up on a line straight across the ruler this way. And if I have done this right, whoops daisy, if I've done this right, then it's going to line up nice. So I'm just lining up, I'm finding a line on this ruler to line up there. I'm making sure that it lines up at the bottom, and a couple of places along here that I will check also. There we go. Let's move on to the next one. Do the same thing. I make sure that the ruler's touching the line, but I can still see the line, the little check mark. And the last one. So now we have divided it equally this way 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we need to do this side. So we are going to move it so D and A. So D will be in the lower left and the A will be in the lower right corner. And we're going to go through the process one more time, making sure that this corner stays. And we're going to pivot this so the 15 line, this 15 line stays, and then again we're going to mark every 3 inches. 1, 2, 3 on the 12 line, 1, 2, 3 on the 9th line, 1, 2, 3 on the 6th, 1, 2, 3 on the 3. And again we're going to draw those lines in. Now you're going to see these lines are not going to match up to the lines that are on. They're not supposed to. You want them, there's lines on your graph paper. You're going to match up these lines on the graph paper at the top, at the bottom, making sure that you have your ruler touching the little check mark. We have a check mark here, 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 and here. And we're just going to make sure everything's lined up nice, because if they ain't, it's not going to work. I'm having a little bit of difficulty here. There we go. And we move on to the next. I make sure this line at the bottom, a line at on the ruler lines up to the bottom of the graph paper line, and the top part also. And I mark. Move on to the next. And one more. There we go. So now we have divided it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. I'm going to turn this back so I have the top on the top. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write right in here, King's crown and 5 patch. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to have to do some erasing, so make sure you have a really good eraser, pencil eraser. That's why I use a pencil to mark. Okay, so the first line we're going to do is there's 1 block, 2 block, 3, and then we have to draw a line. So I'm looking at my pattern. We have 1 block. Let me turn this the other way so you guys can see. I'm not sure if I'm turning these. All right. So we have a block, and a block. Okay, so this is going to be a pattern block, this is going to be background, a pattern, and then this line here gets divided. Can you see that? Right here. These are half square triangles. Alright, so it's going to be 1, background, 3, and then these ones here. So what you want to do is you want to take your pencil and you want, or your ruler I should say, and you want to line everything up to the crosshairs of the markings that we just put in. And you're going to draw a diagonal line through those. Oopsie daisy. I'm just trying to get this a little bit darker so you can see. I don't want to use a pen because then I can't erase. I think that is a little darker. And I'm going to go ahead and mark some of these a little darker also so you can see. I'm just darkening up ones that are that we can read. Okay. I'll darken as I go. All right. And this one here needs to be darkened up a little bit, just so you guys can see. All right. So that line's in, which is this line on this line here, okay? And now we are going to go, these are half square triangles, and then we will have from corner to corner all these blocks, which are these, and then the next one, this square has to be divided in half to be a half square triangle. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Yeah. And we're going to make sure that we go through these crosshairs. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and darken these up just a little bit more so you can see. Alright, these ones also. There we go. All right. So this is what we're going to erase now. From this line over, from this line here, we're going to erase these lines. And the reason why we're doing that is because this is one piece of fabric. Whatever fabric you choose to put in this space. I chose this block for a reason. It is a beautiful block to use. It doesn't look super interesting because I just put oranges, blah, 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 on my printout. But if you do this and really, these all scrappies, you know, and then these maybe something different, and you put them together, you can get a really beautiful quilt top. And all I did was I rotated, here's the block here, which is this, and I just rotated the blocks so I can have this big center. So this could be anything, and then you get this crosshair thing, and then you get this other pattern here. So this is a really fun block to play with. Now, to do your template plastics, it's the same process. You will do this triangle. You would do this triangle first if you want. You can do it last. But it's going to take up a big piece of, a big chunk of your I'm just putting the outer edge so you can see it better. I mean, if you're working with the, there we go. So this you would do a template for this. You would do a template, you do a big triangle, one little triangle, and one big triangle. Now, we're going to choose some fabrics, and I have a stack of fabrics here. And I think I'm going to go with the blue for these. Okay, so I would need 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles out of this. Sorry, squares. And then I would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 triangles. I would use these as the background. You can use this as the background. Now, you also would need another fabric for these. And I think I am going to go, and I might do this a little differently. I'm trying to decide what colors. I think I will go with this as the background. I might use something different in place of this because, I mean, these are from the same line of fabrics. Now I have this in a green, and I don't have any of that here, that color here. So this one I will really have to think about, but you could choose one floral fabric here and then use some tone on tone here, or solid, and then see, I'm debating if I should use, I don't have a lot of this left, I'd have to get some more of it. See, that would work because it matches that color on the, okay. Now the other option is to see what goes with this. If I have any in here, I might have to go and get another fabric. This looks fine together also. They're from the same line of fabrics. This is the Tilda Garden Life fabric collection. So that one I kind of like. I don't think I have enough of that to do this block, so I will have to look it up. So this color here could become the background, and then I choose something else here. I could choose this one to go there. Because that and that's the same color, and this could be the background. Or I could stick with an off-white or cream for those, and then use this where all the dark oranges are, and this could be my accent to get that crisscross happening and stuff. So those are some choices. You know, if you've been following along with the tutorials on drafting, you will know how already to make your templates and everything. So go ahead and make your templates. We'll do some cutting and some marking and sewing, because it's a little different to sew this kind of block together versus this particular block together than what we did on the previous blocks. Okay. So I will see you next time, and we'll be a little further along with this. And you guys, if you need a reminder on how to go about marking your fabric choices onto your papers, you can go back and look at the past tutorials I've done on this already. And for your template making, you can refer back to the other videos that I've done on template making and stuff for the 9-patch and the 4-patch. It's the same process regardless of what size or what type of block you're doing. So that is it for now, and we will cover more in the next video, and by then I'll have some choices done for my own choices of fabrics that I want to use for this block. So we'll see you next time. Bye.